Hi, I'm Pam Cullen of 3 Mile Pond Girl Creates, and today I'd like to show you how I made this card. And the purpose of making this card is because our Ink and Ingenuity team has now started doing a blog hop, and this will be our 4th blog hop that we've done as a team. And the theme for this month is a masculine card. And so this is my submission for the blog hop this month. And I am kind of pleased with the way this card turned out. And I'm using some of the new products. I'm actually using the Soft Pastels for this card. And so I'm going to show you a different technique for using that. And this is actually, the trees are actually from one of our Christmas and winter stamp sets. So it just goes to show the versatility of the stamp set that, you know, I used it to create this card, but you can also use it for winter scenes and for Christmas and holiday cards. So anyway, let's get started. And first I'll go ahead and show you the products that we're going to be using for this card. And as I mentioned, we're going to be using these new Soft Pastel Assortments, and these things are really, really cool. And I've been dying. I've had them for a little while, but I've been dying to use them. And so let me see if it lists the colors on here. Yes, it does. So the colors that are included in this are Coastal Cabana, Daffodil Delight, Gorgeous Grape, Granny Apple Green, Mango Melody, Mossy Meadow, Night of Navy, and Poppy Parade. So, and it's interesting because this is the Night of Navy, which is a very dark blue color. Here it doesn't look like it, but I actually used that to make the sky image in this. So I'm going to show you again how we did that. So anyway, I love this new product, and I can't wait to show you how to use that. So then we're going to be using the rectangle stitched framelit dies, and I used, I believe it's this one, yep, I used the third largest framelit die for the white piece of paper here. And then for the Mossy Meadow piece on this card, I used the bark embossing folder, which is a new product that came out, and I just love this. It's part of the Beautiful Friendship bundle, and it's a really, really nice embossing folder. So then the stamps that we're going to be using is Evergreen Elegance, and like I said, this is a really, really pretty set, and I'm only using this tree stamp here. But as you'll see, we're going to get some different colors and some different sizes for that, just using this one tree stamp. And then we're using this Best Year for the sentiment, and I use this Happy Birthday to You stamp right here. But this is a really nice sentiment. I love it when you can buy a stamp set that's just sentiments, because it gives you your thank you at Christmas, wishing you the best year. So it's birthdays and dad, you know, for your dad. So it's a really nice all-around sentiment. It gives you a good variety of sentiments for your cards. All right, so I think that's all of the products that we're going to be using. So now let me show you the pieces that we're going to use for this. So I have a piece of early espresso that's 8.5, 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of the Best Year, no, it's not Best Year, it's In Good Taste Designer Series paper, and that's cut at 4 1/4 by 5. And then I'm using that piece of Mossy Meadow that is embossed with the bark embossing folder, and that piece is 4 3/4 by 3 1/2. And then you just need a scrap piece of white to cut out your stitched triangle for your front piece of the paper, front piece of the card. And then we have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 for the inside of our card, and then some just a piece of linen thread for our piece on the front. So I think that's all we need. And so then let me show you the inside. I did just do a couple more of those trees on the inside just to kind of finish off and bring the front of the card to the inside of the card. So let's just get started, and I'll show you how I did those trees, because that's the most interesting part of this card. Is, you know, it's fun and easy to do this, and you get a lot of freedom for creativity. You know, I just sat there, and so let me show you. So what I did was I just took some sponge daubers and the pastel. So we're going to be using the Mossy Meadow pastel, the Granny Apple Green, and the Night of Navy. So those are the three colors that we're going to use. And you can use take a pick tool. You can use anything you want to. And what you do, I'm trying to keep my daubers so I know which one's for which. So what I did was I just took a pair of scissors and I just scraped some of that pastel powder onto this block. And then we're going to do the same thing, the Granny Apple Green. And don't panic, this looks really, really green. And I thought, oh, I don't know if that's going to work or not. But it actually did make a nice color difference on those trees. And I really liked how that turned out. So the first thing we're going to do, and we'll use let's just do that while we have our scissors out. So, and then we did the same thing, just took some of this blue, and we're going to use that for our sky when we get to that piece. So there we go, and I'll leave those out in case we need to add some to it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our Versamark ink, whoops, and our Versamark ink is, you're not going to be able to see when I stamp with this. So you're going to have to trust me that the images are on here. But once we start doing it's kind of sticky ink. I know there's a word for it, but I can't remember what it is, but it's just sticky. So that, the pastels are going to stick to that. So I'm stamping full on with that. And then I wanted to just do a second generation stamp, so it's a little bit lighter than the last one. And then I just alternated how those, the size of the trees, I just kind of randomly put, and then over here I did the same thing. I didn't stamp again, I just stamped off. So I had some less ink and more ink on there so that we just get some different looking texture on there. So then we're going to go ahead and take a sponge dauber, and that just fits right on the end of your finger there. And we're going to, I started with the trees that I wanted darker first. And so you just tap your sponge dauber into the powder. And so I'm going to start on this tree because this is the one that has the most ink on it. And I just kind of went in a circular motion. See how that's coming now? And you can continue, you can continue to add more to this powder if you want to or not. And then I went over to this one because I had less of the pastels on my, less of the pastel color on. And so I'm getting that lighter shade for that tree next to it. And then see if you just brush that excess powder off. And you're going to get some, you're going to get some color outside of your tree. But I really like that. It kind of gave it kind of a fog, like a fog or something. I don't know. It kind of gave it a misty color behind the trees. And I really liked the effect that gave for that. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to give this tree a little bit more color here. And then I'm going to move over to this one because I don't want this tree, I don't want that tree to be real dark. I want this one to be lighter. So we're just going to do, see how that's coming out lighter. This one's a lot darker. And then this tree, I'm going to go dark again. I want this one to stand out here a little bit more. So this is really kind of fun, you know, to see what it's going to turn out like when you put the pastel on there. And I thought it looked really good. So then I'm just going to shake that off a little bit. Get that powder off there. So see, you've got your differing shades and different colors on that. And then I'm going to go ahead and take the, this Granny Apple Green. And again, trust me, I was scared at first too and thought, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here with this bright. It looks so bright, but it actually, as you'll see here, it just brings the color a little bit out on those trees. Gives you some nice shading effect. Gives you your different color, you know what I mean? It gives you your different colors, like if it looks like you're in a forest. So in this one, as opposed to the last one, I got some more of that green on there, but I still think it's going to be okay because I'm going to put the blue. I'm going to put the blue on afterwards, but while we're on the greens, I'm going to go ahead and get that piece for the inside of our card. And I'm going to go ahead, let's set this one aside for a minute, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp those as well in the Versamark, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to do that same shading method on the inside. So I just did one in a little bit, and then the second one, second generation, stamped beside it, and then we're going to go ahead and just shade those trees again. So I'm going to do this one darker. But as you can see, you know, it's, this doesn't take long. It's a fast, you know, it's kind of a fast technique, but it's really showy, I think. I think it's beautiful, actually, and you can do it. I'm actually, in the Celebration catalog, there's a beautiful delicate dahlia stamp set, and I believe my plan is to do you can see that in the camera. My plan is to do something with these and that stamp set because I think that will make a really, really beautiful card with the dahlias and these pastels. All right, so there we go. So there's the inside of our card. I'm just going to leave it like that. And so the last thing we need to do with the pastels is we just need to do that blue for the sky. And I did that just because I wanted to give it a little bit of a contrast, and I just felt like it would be more natural that way. And again, you know, this blue looks really blue on here on the pad, but when you put it on your paper, it actually comes out really light. And this part, I didn't use any Versamark or anything. I basically just used the pastel and the sponge dauber. So and it stays on there, and it works really well. And I think it gives you a little bit more control. You know, I wanted to go real light with that, and it worked well doing that. And I think it's blending okay with that area that I got more of the green. So that's all I did. I just kept on going with this until I felt like I had the color that I wanted. I think it makes a really showy card. So then we're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment for the front of our card, right directly on. Get this out of the way. We're going to go ahead and stamp our sentiment right directly. Oh, that's not the right one. We want the happy birthday. There we go. Get the right stamp here. And I didn't bring another block over, so we're going to use this big one. So, and then we're going to stamp that in early espresso ink, so it will just stand out a little bit from those colors. So there's really, this is the only stamping other than the Versamark, you know, this is the only stamping. And so this is really, I thought this was a really fun card to do. And I love learning and showing you a new technique. And I think this does create a really nice, it's a little bit crooked. I think it does create a really nice masculine card, because that I don't know about you, but I struggle sometimes with coming up with a masculine card. So it was really nice to have this one. So I think now we're ready to put this card together. And so let's just go ahead and put our inside piece in, have that tucked away. Just going to put our liquid glue on the back. Line that up so your edges are even all the way around. Go. There, looks pretty. And then we're going to put our piece of designer series paper and then just layer this up. And I didn't use any dimensionals. I thought about putting the tree piece up on dimensionals, but I thought it looked really nice all just laying flat. So then we're going to put this piece on the front, and then we'll put our linen thread around that before we put it down. There we go. See, that feels like it's a little crooked, just like the sentiment. Be okay. So then I'm just going to grab some tape. So that we can, what I like to do is just take your linen thread and tape it on the back. Just tape your piece down. You want to figure out kind of where you want your thread to line up, and then you just take this end, tape it down with a little Scotch tape. Then you got your hands free, and then we're just going to wrap it once and wrap it twice, crisscross it there, and tape this end down. There we go, that looks good. And then we'll just trim off that excess. And then glue this to the front of our card. And you want to be sure with that, when you have an embossed piece, that you get a lot of glue on there so that it sits down, because it's got those bumps in it, and so it's a little bit tougher to stick down. So there we go. That card did not take us very long at all, but I think it's a really nice, really pretty masculine card. So I wanted to tell you that the Blog Hub is going to publish on August 17th. So you'll want to head over to my blog, and you'll see this card and all the instructions for how to make it. And you'll also see what everybody else created for their masculine cards. So I hope you enjoyed this, and if you are watching this on YouTube and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I really appreciate it if you would do that. You can hit the subscribe button just below this video. If you don't have a demonstrator already, I would love to be your demonstrator. So if you want to reach out to me, I'd love to chat with you about that and what that would look like for you. And so I just thank you. And if you're placing an order, this is the host code to place orders for the month of August, and you want to use that code if your order is $150 or less. If it's more than that, don't use the code because you're going to get your own Stampin' Rewards. And just a reminder that this is a great time to order, because with your order of $50 or more, you get free celebration items. And that Delicate Dahlias was one of the ones that I was telling you about that's available for a $100 purchase, and it's just a beautiful stamp set. So I would encourage you to check out all the new products in the mini catalog and the celebration catalog. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. So thank you for stopping by my channel today, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.